Guys, welcome to this stream on Rustlang. Um, this is going to be first of many of the series that we are going to do on Rustlang. So let's get started. I've already opened a Rust book, and the first chapter seems to be installation of the Rust programming language. Let's find the installation for our desktop. Our system, which is Mac OS, and it seems that I have already installed the Rust. Let's check version. Okay, Rust is installed now. It says okay. Let's configure our shell. Maybe Rust on fine anyway. Yeah, I guess it's RS. Let's continue. Rust is installed now. You can get C compiler by running. Why do we C compiler? You'll also need a linker, which is program that Rust uses to join its compile output into one file. Okay, you likely already have one. If you get linker, you should install a C compiler, which is typically include a linker. Okay, so this is just a linker. As we are going to install this, let's install it. Okay, so C linker is already installed. After you have installed Rust, okay, let's see. Okay, so we already have the latest version of the Rust. Let's clean this up. Okay, let's see the version. Okay, so this is Rust C, not just Rust that we were already doing. Okay, so we have Rust version 1.60.0. All right, let's get going. Okay, and this is our Hello World program. Says us to create a directory, cd projects. Let's run this. Why? MKD not there. There. Okay. No idea. All right. So let's go into projects. Okay. It says to create another directory called hello world, and then we are going to. All right. That's it. All right. So we have our required directory available. Now it's time to create a file which is named as main.rs. Like it seems that like all our programming language, this is the entry point file for this one, for the Rust program, and it also has a main function. So let's create a main.rs inside our hello world project. All right. So first thing it says to create a file, it's main, and IntelliSense seems to be quite nice. So just println, and not we will see now what not is seems to be a macro. I'll just copy this. Not or an exclamation mark. I'm not sure right now what that means. Anyways, we do not have imports now. I'm coming from Golang, so I will be kind of comparing it with the Golang. Golang comes with similar syntax and is replaced by func, and then again we have in entry function. But one thing we also require is the packaging in Golang. Right now, I don't see a package defined here. Alright, so next it is to compile this, and then this is been okay. So rest C main.rs compiled, and I guess we should be able to run this with hello world. Alright, so our first hello world program is done. I'm not sure how we would be able to run it from the IDE. We will see that later. Some plugin will come to our rescue. Okay, here I guess next it's explaining in bit detail what this function does. Oh, that's nice. We can also run this function from here. We do not have any output. All right, so as I mentioned that, like every programming language, this main is an entry point for this Rust program. And we have this parenthesis. Again, the body is wrapped around these curly braces. There is also Rust FMT. Yeah, again, comparing with Go, you have Go FMT, Rust comes with Rust FMT. So you can also include it in your IDE so that it kind of format your code every time you save your code. Oh, this comes with standard distribution, so this is nice. All right, okay, as I told, so why not we also create node for this one, Rust 01. Right, so we have something called as a macro. That's good. All right, so it says that we will be discussing these macros in more detail in chapter 19. So if you are coming from languages like C, C++, you would be understanding what these macros are. All right. One thing again is this semicolon. Some of model programming language these days do not include these semicolons. For Go, this is kind of optional. If you are writing each statement in a different line, so you do not require these semicolons. All right, let's cargo. Okay, so cargo is a system and package manager. Manage the project. Cargo itself comes with GoMod, or if you have used dep. If you are coming from Java, you would be using something called Maven or a Gradle. So similar to those package managers, you have the cargo, which are going to take care of your dependencies in your project. Okay, it says that cargo is already installed. Let's check that. I'll just clean this up. All right, so cargo is already there. Oh, so we can also create a new project using cargo. So let's try this cargo. So I guess this will create a dependency class 2ML. I guess Go has similar package management. Let's try this out. I'll go one directory back and run this cargo. Okay, so syntax is cargo new followed by I guess this will be our project. I'm not sure what exactly this is. In Golang, this will be a module name, and these module name, if you are having a Git, if you are hosting your project in your source code in Git, so this will be an HTTP endpoint to that particular Git location. So let's hit that. So it says it created a binary application hello cargo package. Okay, let's go inside this cargo. Okay, so we have something called. All right, we already have the boilerplate for hello world. I'm not sure what exactly this is right now. We'll come to at some point of time. Meanwhile, let's see. It is that the package is hello cargo, a certain version and edition. And if you are interested in more details about these keys, then you can head over to this link. All right. I guess we will just skip these lines if you already have some background into programming language. I don't think. So next thing is building and running a cargo project. So that's what we are more interested into. So let's build our latest project, cargo. Okay, cargo build, I guess. Yeah. So cargo build is done. Okay, so we also saw that where was it? Oh, there's many file this cargo has generated. I'm not sure what these are. Probably will be like okay, this was just a git ignore. So it seems that by default, if you are building your project with cargo, this is going to produce a default directory called target, and here is I guess your binary that is final build effect. We have a couple of other directories as well. We will see these directory later. There is some other information as well. It has generated a JSON file. I'm not sure what the JSON file is. Maybe it's a descriptor about this particular program. Maybe later in this Git cookbook, REST cookbook, we have something in detail about this. So there is another caster tag. Okay, again, this is generated. So you can see that when we were building a simple project, it just generated a simple binary, and we were able to get our code working. With cargo, we have kind of so much of additional information apart from a simple binary. Let's see what these are in detail. Maybe this book explains this. Okay, so we can also run directly using cargo run. Let's see if cargo run. Okay, so cargo run has been executed and our desired output is printed to the console. So looks good. Okay, so we can also run a cargo check. I guess we can. This should be part of the ID by default, because you just want to check for the compilation errors. Okay, those compilation error may not be shown directly, but most of the time these types of checks are most of these checks are taken care by modern IDEs. All right, so let's check, and it says that it's fine. We do not have any compile time errors. Okay. So what we have done, cargo build, cargo. So I will just copy this to the story. All right. When project finally ready for release, to compile it with optimization, create an target release instead of target debug. Okay. So another thing is, if you want to release this, just does some optimization if you provided additional flag called release. I'm not sure right now what all optimization would be done after we provide this hyphen release flag. Okay, so according to this particular build will be slightly slower because it will try to include all sorts of optimization. So if you are in for a faster fast compile time, then you would be using, just for dev purpose, that will be a faster build, while another one will be a little bit slower because this would try to perform some optimization, so that your runtime is faster. Okay, yeah, so like all the package managers, right? So this is just a single function program. So right now we are not seeing the benefits of it, but as your program become, or your program or library or application becomes more complex, and it tries to include more and more external libraries, okay, and different type of version. Sometimes you are trying to also upgrade those libraries. In that all scenarios, you will be requiring the package manager. All right, all right. So here, next one, it says that we are going to program a guessing game. So again, let's use cargo new, followed by the name of the project. Let's go ahead. Cargo new guess game. CD guess game. I'll just clear it out so that's on top of the screen. All right, so it already generated a cargo ML file with the versioning. Maybe other dependencies will be added later, yeah, in this particular section. We are not going to do a cargo run for now. Let's skip it. All right, so it's using a stand. Now it started to include or import some libraries. This, I guess, comes as a part of core Rust. And then again we are printing println followed by this mark quotation. I'm not sure, exclamation mark. So it's macro always. If it's a function, that's a simple function like this. So I guess even Java TypeScript has this let, so it finds a variable for you, and it says mut. We will see that later what mut does. And I guess this is scope resolution operator if you're coming from C++. So this new is of this particular class. Again, you have we have included the IO. I guess this is a subclass of this or this is a package. Inside that you have this particular class, and you have stdin, and then you have your reading, I guess, from this variable, and then if fails, then you're printing this. Else, you're just guessing the number. Let's see. Okay, so IO library comes from the standard library, as we already talked about it. Entry point, as we already talked about it. Again, we already saw this. Okay, this is the new stuff. Select. All right, so they are kind of describing it with a simple example, and they are saying that they will be dealing with detail. So by default, it's immutable. So that immutable in the sense, if you're coming from other languages, then it's a constant in that program. So once the value is assigned, you cannot reassign some other value to this particular variable. Next, if you want to make it variable, then you have to assign it. So I guess slightly verbose. So I guess most of the time we have variables which are mutable. I'm not sure whether this is a right design approach, because we are kind of creating another constant or another keyword just to make a variable double quotes. I guess that they should have been good just using a var keyword and then just make it mutable. Anyway, so this is how it goes. I'll just copy this here. Yeah. So now it makes sense that this is mutable. So guess is not a constant, it's a variable. So you can kind of change these values. So string new, a function that returns a new instance of string. The string type provides a standard library that is growable. Okay. New is an associated function of the string type. Okay, so there is a new word or a new definition called associated function in this case. An associated function that is implemented on a type. In this case, it is string. All right. So I'll also copy this. So here we have created a new instance of the string, and we have bind it to the guess word. Okay, receiving in the user input. So IO already has, we are reading from standard input, and we are assigning whatever we have read to this particular guess. I'm not sure why again we have this and mute, slightly crazy. I was expecting it to be this ampersand of guess. So you are writing to the memory location of the guess. All right. Yes, so that is fine that this is the reference, but at the same time, it doesn't. Okay. For now, all you need to do is that like reference are immutable by default. Hence, all right. So this is good. So we will also. So I'll just reiterate. I guess by the now you would have understood it. So what it says that here we are using a reference to this particular variable, but the references by default are immutable. So as a result, we are forced to provide an MUT because this particular guess is a mutable storage. Yeah, slightly complicated, but we will let it go because it seems that we will be covering it in section 3.3.1 of variables and mutability. Fine. We are still working on this line. We are now discussing. It's still a part of a single logical line. The next part in this method is expect. Okay, so this is kind of an assert in other languages. So you can have something that you expect out of that particular piece of code or function. So you can have dot expect. I guess this is again a chaining of this method. It will be nice to look into look deep into what this read line is actually returning, so that we will cover in maybe a later part of it. Okay, so it says that this read line, it returns that io dot result, and this particular expect will be part of this io dot results. All right, the results type and often referred to as enums. Okay, so this result is an enum which can have a fixed set of possibilities known as variants. Enums are often used with match, a conditional that makes it different code based on what variant and enum values. Okay, so just like all other enums, so you have different, they call it as the variant. So I'll just copy it because we have so associated function. We also have the enumeration. So it returns two variants. This particular result is an enum. Okay, so it has two type of variant, okay, error. So result and an expect method that you call, if there is an error value, expect will cause to crash and display the message that you pass as an argument to expect. Okay, always remember that this will cause the program to crash, right? So if you are building some web application or some other tool that is taking uh, user input regularly, so you do not want to crash that program, right? All right, so there is some additional information. So OK will also return you that the number of bytes whatever user has. So now what is the final output? So it's saying to just build it. So let's go up and copy this piece of code. We'll go to the guess game. So simple cargo check was the first thing as we are in that direction. Cargo check looks good. Now will be a cargo build. Oh, it builds successfully. It seems that in the code book they are saying that we would be receiving some error. Alright, so final point is just to contains the user input. Okay, so you can use a placeholder. Alright, so these are the placeholders in some other language. For instance, as I already mentioned, I came from Golang, so you would have a format specifier based on what type of value you want to replace them with. So if you have a string, you are going to %s, %d for integers and all those values. So in here, it seems that you can have this curly braces. I guess this is the introduction. Maybe we have those forms specified later, but for now, these curly braces act as the placeholder for these print statements. I'll just copy this here. All right. So let's run this application. So cargo run. Oh, isn't saved. All right. Cargo build. Cargo run. Guess the number 5. We guessed 5. So we are receiving the required input. So for now, let's quickly take 2 minutes of break, and then we will be back with uh, then another exercise. It says to generate a secret number. So let's quickly take some break. All right, guys, let's get started. All right, guys, let's get started. All right, guys, let's get. Okay, so for the echo. Okay, so for the echo. All right, so our guessing game was done. Uh, let's move to the next part. So there is another piece of code that says we need to generate secret number. And okay, so we are going to kind of extend this first piece of code where we were just getting a number from the user. Now we are going to generate a secret number and then ask the user to guess that number. All right, so the random number between 1 to 100. Okay, so we do not have any standard library that generates a random number. So it has a random crate. What is crate? Crate is a collection of Rust source code file binary, which is the random crate is a library crate, okay, which contains code intended to be used in other programs. All right. Cargo really shines. So it says that as I mentioned, that Cargo is a dependency manager, so we should be and we would be able to include any libraries to use in our program. So we are going to modify cargo.2ml to include rand it as a dependency. So let's add this. It's that add that the dependency section. So let's add in the dependencies section, and it says that what version of run crate we are using. I guess in Rust we call libraries as crate. I'm not sure if you know. Kindly comment in the comment section. All right. So again, this is semantic versioning, so I will just skip this over. And next, just do a cargo build. All right. Let's do a cargo build. I'll clear this up. We'll extend this so that it's clear visible. So cargo build. So it's fetching, I guess, started to fetch the dependencies. We need to check what exactly this create state.io index. We'll see that later. Let's continue meanwhile. Okay, so this creates IO is where people Rust ecosystem post their open source Rust project for others to use. All right, so something like an PM or something. I'm not sure. Let's click this creates.io and see what exactly this is. Okay, so it's kind of registry, so similar Docker Hub, and you have all those libraries. It's kind of npm. All right, let's go back. So first it updates the registry, and once the registry is updated, it will check dependencies section and download those crates from this crates IO. Whatever library crates are listed in dependencies section. All right, so cargo, if you run again, it won't show any changes because those dependencies are already included. I guess that this will be from this .log file, so it has all the libraries or all the crates that are part of this particular project along with that exam. So it's going to just look into this log file and see that those crates are already listed here. All right. So what's the reproducible build? Then ensure that you rebuild the same after you and anyone else build your code. Only the version. Also, these are reproducible build. So I guess it's the same thing that I was talking about. So let's skip this cargo.log file. All right. So you can also, when you do a great cargo provides, okay, so you have this update. We'll ignore the and figure out all the latest version. All right. So if you want to move your dependencies to a higher version crates, you can just cargo update and it will move your version to the latest version. All right, so let's skip that. I guess we already have learned about cargo crate and crate management. Crates are nothing but the external libraries that we are going to use in our program. Let's copy this piece of code. Now you can see that. Let's copy and paste it on ID and then go over it from there. So again, this is our standard IO. So you have this brand that was great, right? And we have included this in our project. And we have RNG, random number generator, I guess that's what it means. Let's see what all is available in this rand and RNG. So let secret number, so it generates a secret number. Let's see what that means. Definitely, and it says that the range, it should generate a random number in this particular, so 1 to 100. I guess this doesn't include this 101. Then we have this println, no need to repeat. This is a macro. The curly braces are the placeholder for this secret number. And again, we have created a variable, bind it to a new instance of a string. We have this mute because by default we have the immutable variable. We are reading from the command line, and again mute again for mutability because references are immutable by default, and it will check that what exactly we have. Yes, I guess we should kind of also match whether whatever we have guess is also the same number from the random, and then bring some statement telling that, oh, you have correct guess and here is your price. All right. All right, we are not going to read more to this one. I already have understood what exactly it does. Apart from this thread RNG function, let's read what this is. That gives us a particular random number generator that we are going to use, one that is local to the current thread and set by the operating system. Okay. All right. So this is seeded by the operating system. I'm not exactly sure right now what this specific means. It's local to the current thread. That means that this somehow is using a system call, and based on that, it is generating a random number. Let's copy this so that like we can research more about this later. All right, so let's just ignore this and just go ahead and run cargo run. All right, guess your number 89. You guessed it 9. I didn't save it. Okay, let's save it. So that's kind of foolish. It prints the second number first, and then it asks for guessing the number. All right. So it seems that we have used another crate. Oh, it's not a crate. Crates are external libraries. This is part of the REST core libraries. So we have the CMP. I guess this is for comparison. So uh, so we are comparing secret number with a guess number, and if it's less, greater, whatever, then we printing that. So it seems like the lambdas here. Um, the way that they have organized this, so it compares with this one, and then based on whether this less or more, it just prints the following statement. All right, let's see that. Okay, so ordering type is another enum. Oh, so these are nothing but the enums. All right, so if less is less, then this will print. This was kind of a switch case, right? So this is a match, and then these are the cases. So the CMP method compares values and can be on anything that can be compared, right? What do you want to compare with? Here is comparing the guess to the secret number. Then it returns a variant of the ordering. Okay. We got into scope with the use case. We use the match to decide what to do next based on which variant of ordering was written from the call to CMP with the values in guess and secret number. All right. So it says that this guess, this CMP that is part of standard library, this is used to compare a number or whatever that can be compared with reference to another value of the same type, because the same type can be compared. I'm not sure what types can be compared in this, but for now, let's assume that two variables, two values or same type can be compared. It returns enumeration or variant, which can be passed to the merchant based on what variant is received. This is likely to execute one of these values, one of these statements, in fact. All right. Okay, so match expression is made up of match again, and the code should be run if you. Okay, so this is another new. Yeah, every language has these new terms. So we have this match arms something. Right. We also learn about enumerate variants. I guess that's common to other languages as well. Enumeration the same. Mutability we have already learned about, so it's either get or put, so mutable or immutable. All right, so we are not going to read about this in more detail. Let's copy this and get going. So save this, else it will run the older version. So it says that we have some. All right, I've also not imported the compare ordering. So let's include this as well. Give it a try. All right, still says that we have some error. Sample uniform something something found integer. Okay, so it seems that guess this was returning an integer, and this particular piece of line is and strings. So we have to do type casting or something. Yeah. Mismatch types, so we can make it to an integer type. I'm not sure if we can do a type conversion here, so let's see that. So this was a type string. It's fine. Guess that's type of U32 parse. Okay, so here how we are doing a type conversion. Let's see, it's slightly complicated. So let guess equals to guess, create a new variable, but this time it didn't specify whether it's the immutable or mutable. That's kind of strange because okay, so what, there will be an immutable now, there won't be more changes, right? So it's string any white spaces, mostly normal spaces, with this particular piece of string, and then it's passing, it's kind of converting that string to integer, and which is of type U32. Right. I guess we should also be able to define a new variable which is U32 here. All right, let's run this now. 91. All right, so it seems that this is working, but this type casting, and I guess it also has a type assertion with expect. This is a bit verbose, right? So too much, to say the least. Trim, again, I guess this trim is part of this string pass, and you also have a pass with it, and then again this is of the type result. We already saw that there's a type of IO result. I guess that's again either returns an OK or it returns an error. If it returns an error, there is panics, and we are kind of saying that that particular integer would be of unsigned. So let's try that with something called a -90. So this should panic, right? Because this is unsigned of 32 bits. All right. All right. So I guess we do not need to read all these things here. Okay. So here we can also have some looping enabled. So for looping, what it says that we have to just use a keyword called loop. That's good. All right. So once that loop is done, so anytime it says that you are winning, so it just break. So also we have this break, this match. Again, let's recap this so we can guess another. Again, we have these, what was the word, arms for this match expressions, and based on that, it will be handling whatever if this particular comparison of operation returns. All right, so let's add that loop, because loops are necessary, to say the least. Okay, so we can add a loop here and end the loop here. It doesn't automatically ident, so something we need to later on figure it out. And this should go, I guess, here. Fine. Let's change this to 60. Yeah. tokens. Okay, so it's saying that we can also just break. Again, see that when we have, again, this is also valid to some other programming language. Even in Java, if you have one line statement, so you do not need a curly brace to wrap this. But if you are now having multiple statements within your lambdas, then you are going to wrap it with the curly brace. All right. So I'm invalid. We are already doing that. Oh, okay. So we may not be crashing it. We can also again continuing within the loop. All right, that's good. Trim.rs. So remember that we had this expect. All right, we can wrap in the match, and then if it's okay, then we are assigning this number. If it's an error, then we are saying that let's continue. That's also again the arm for this one. I don't know. So this match works on the return type of this one, the arms. So for instance, the comparison operator was returning these ordering values, right? So this will return okay or an error. So based on what this returns, we'll be able to. And this is interesting because if this fails, it panics now. Here again, if we do not want to panic it, then you can capture the error and do some operation on the error. So that's also nice. Just copy and paste this now. You want me to run it? Okay, I'll also run it. So let's run. Oh, yeah, it just continues. Right. All right. This match statement is kind of interesting. So this is getting used not just for this comparison function, but this may also be used with any type based on what type is returned. This can kind of have those arms executed based on the return type. All right. Yeah. So the same thing. So they were playing this secret number before, so that's kind of ruining our experience. So just remove this, and this is how our guessing number looks like. So again, card one, guess number 45, too big. Okay, let's oh, too small. So it's somewhere between 45 and 12. What is in between? 35. 35 is too big. 25, too big. 20, too small. So we are close. 22, too big. So it's 21. Finally. All right. So this is how our guessing game ends. I guess I will be putting this onto GitHub, and next I'll be sharing the GitHub link with you guys. For today, I guess this is it, and see you. And let's connect back tomorrow probably with the third chapter of this book. Here it seems that we will be digging deep into variability, data type, function comments, and control flow. So most probably by tomorrow we would be finishing this, at least till this chapter number 5 start. But it seems that we have a lot much to cover. So that's it. Have a nice day. Enjoy your life. Bye bye.